What was it? Yesterday? Yesterday was Thanksgiving. Yesterday, we went into Sprouts because it's the only thing open. And this man comes up to my mother and says that she needs to pull her mask up. She was talking to me on the other side of the store. He was very rude and aggressive. He was already moving from one side to the other, okay? Now, we're going to tell you how we feel about COVID. We want you to just follow it with us here, okay? Just follow it with us. Still believe what you want to believe, but I'm not saying that I don't believe that COVID itself, the sickness, is not real. Hey, guys, that's not what I'm saying. I believe that the sickness is very real, but it's the fact of common sense and make it make sense with the things that people are doing. But we're going to get into that. So anyways, he points his finger at me and I lose my shit. He kept saying, well, you're basically putting someone in danger. Funny, because you walked from one side of the produce aisle to the other to come get into our space, which is 6 feet apart, to tell us that you feel like we're putting you in harm's way. Okay? He's like, there's no other reason. Basically, there's no reason why you don't have your mask on. I said, yeah, there is a reason. No, that he don't want to hear that. There's no reason. Yes, there is a reason. Don't want to hear it. Well, I'm with the Americans Disability Act because of my PTSD. So if you're just in the mood to argue with somebody, then that's all you're going to do is argue with somebody. But he wasn't even at all wanting to listen. He just saw us 3 women, which, by the way, there was a big black dude standing not too far from us without a mask on. So once again, we come into this reverse racism issue is what we dealt with in Walmart earlier. It had nothing to really do with COVID. It had something to do with reverse racism that we deal with all the time. All the time. Okay? So, back to this guy, I go off on him and I tell him, like, there's more things, serious shit in the world, and I'm a trafficking survivor, and you're yelling at me because of a legal issue, but you have no idea, you haven't even tried to touch it. Well, Why? Because I'm a trafficking survivor. If you must know that bad. The man literally went and started to walk away. I wasn't done yet, though, because once you poke me, I'm sorry, but if you really get me to that point, you are going to hear every single word that I got to say. It's going to come. Everything that is running through my head will have to come out of my mouth, and there is no ending that. There's no putting an end to that. So I cussed out basically the entire store on Thanksgiving because, there was not that much people in there. But everybody understood why this man approached us at this point, because he approached us to do this. Then when he gets hit with, after he asks why, he has no rebuttal, and walks away. Well, let me tell you something, old man. This is the reason why we're in this situation. And I am very respectful to my elders, but I don't respect people who don't respect other people. Okay? So you get definitely messing with this one or my grandmother, you will get the bear in me. Okay? All right? And I'm going to rip you apart with my bare hands. But he backed up. But after that, you already messed with me. So then, therefore, I was standing at the front door of the place. Just imagine a store. The Sprouts store. I was standing at the front door, and he was over in produce, and I was still going. Okay? Because he was still in my clear vision. And we still had to have this conversation. I told him, there's children being trafficked. There's children being tortured, abused, and raped. And you're worried about a mask after the fact that I already told you that I can't wear a mask. You're not hearing the fact of what I'm trying to tell you. You're just listening with the intent to reply. Are you listening? No. So, the Americans Disability Act goes very far. So if you were in the military, ex-military, especially with combat, you know that in torture tactics back in Iraq, sometimes they use waterboarding, they use torture tactics, and that involves covering your face. So there's military people who have PTSD and have been through hell, and they can't wear the mask. It has nothing to do with, I can't breathe. It has nothing to do with that. You try wearing something that reminds you of the time that you were tortured. That's the point. So that man got my wrath. the whole store. Everybody was like, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We left from there, and today at Walmart. We are waiting on our car to get checked up, and it's fine, but we were just waiting on our car, and it's cold, so I had went in and sat down, and I'm sitting on this plat for at least 30 minutes inside the store. This lady is messing with people, being very sarcastic, just fucking with people, okay? And I'm listening to her, but she's not messing with me, so I'm minding my own business. I got enough on my plate, so I'm just sitting there on my phone, and 30 minutes go by. This woman was staring at me. She seen me, okay? I didn't have a mask on the entire time, right? Now, my mother and my grandmother walks in the door, and I said, Mom. This woman automatically turns around and comes over to us. Where are you guys from? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Isn't there a quarantine over where you guys are? Why don't you mind your damn business? But instead, we were just like, yeah, did you hear the crazy rules that our governor tried to put out? The no chanting and singing with the turkey, no sitting 6 feet apart, sit outside. You can't pray, you can't sing, you can't have certain family members over. Did you hear the psycho crazy rules that you have to be on curfew at 10 o'clock? Yeah, there's crazy rules back in California. We're just talking to this lady. And at first she stood there. Just make it make sense. I just have an issue with common sense not being common. That's the only problem that I have issues with. This woman was standing there talking to us with her mask pulled down for like a good 10-15 minutes. When I told her, because she's like, well, you guys have to put your mask on. My mom's like, whatever, I don't care. I literally laughed and went back into my phone, minding my business. You're not going to get me. You're not going to say something to me. You just said you didn't say anything before. Okay? Just have some consistency and make it make sense. You just stood here for 15-20 minutes talking to us with your mask pulled down. So if you felt that you were in danger, then why'd you pull your mask down to come interfere into our bubble and to mess with us and talk to us? Okay? This woman continued to mess with us, and then after we had this entire conversation about, the military and all that, not even the military, just shooting the shit, she turns around and says, you guys have to put your mask on. You were just talking to us with your mask pulled down. I've been sitting here without a mask. Hell no, I ain't moving and I'm not putting my mask on. No, bite me. Okay? So then this woman starts to bark at my grandmother because my grandma starts saying, that COVID has a 98% survival rate. We're just talking to her because she felt like she wanted to be educated. So we were just, shooting the shit, just talking. And she got a little too sarcastic for me. So I popped off and ended up cussing out the whole automotive section because at this point, this woman, this was out of reverse racism. It wasn't just the COVID issue. When we told her about why I'm with the ADA, I'm sorry, and I don't get it, I don't know what that is. Okay, cool, we'll educate you. I'm a trafficking survivor. I can't have shit on my face. I've been minding my own business in here for a while. This is that, and is why. She, waited for a little bit. Then something clicked, and she wouldn't leave us alone. Okay? She said something to my grandma, she poked a bear in me, and I went off. All right? You are poking at us. And I told you about trafficking children survivors, and the reason of the ADA, you're now messing with the legal issue because you're not legally able to ask anyone what their disability is or why, because that's against the law. We ended up having a really bad discussion. It's on my Facebook. You guys caught the last tail end of that. Okay? I was very upset, very hot. Some people tried to come outside. They almost got the smoke too. The whole automotive section was, they hurried up on our car though. Our car was finished way faster. My point is at the end of this whole conversation is it doesn't make sense. Can we talk about the control? Because if I understand that COVID is an actual virus. However, if you had the flu, the cold, anything of the sort, I am a teacher. I know that I can speak to all teachers right here when I say this. Especially as an extracurricular activity teacher, I'm special. I work in special needs. I'm a cheer coach. I was a dance teacher. I was an after-school tutor. I'm telling you right now, working with extracurricular activities, there are people, parents, who will not send their children to a day of school before all this began. and send them to an extracurricular activity after they were not at school, they had a fever, they're coughing, sneezing, loaded up on drugs, and they come right into class and hug their teacher and say, hey, I didn't go to school today. And I'm like, then why are you here? Like, like trying not to touch the kid, but the kid is sneezing in my face, and I'm a Sally. Like, hi, you didn't decide to stay home? No, I'm good. As long as I'm not going to pass out, my mama said, as long as I don't throw up on this floor, I'm fine. All right, cool. Don't throw up on the floor. That's how things used to go. That's how things used to go before everybody went COVID stir crazy and is not hearing anything about this shit. There was a consistent line, a consistent flow. And we're past that now. The restaurant thing. So are you going to tell me that COVID takes a timeout when you go to take a bite of your food? Do you really feel like COVID is saying, oh my gosh, she got food in her mouth? So now that she entered the restaurant in a mask, they sat down in a mask, but in between bites, COVID is saying, you know what, I'm not going to touch you. I'm going to take a flag out because you got food in your mouth. So I'm going to be generous to you and not touch you because you're eating. Are you kidding? Does anybody not feel like we're on like punk? Like, does anybody not feel like somebody's about to pop out and be like, Candy Kiara? Like, nobody? Because the rules that our governor has given us are insanity. The fuck you mean don't pray over the turkey? What do you mean no singing and chanting? What do you mean go sit outside in the tent when it's cold?
Well, you can't be out after 10
You
p.m.
can't. So, okay, and another thing, the curfew. So COVID
is good.
9:59 is great, but COVID is not safe. Tag, you in. That is not the safe zone at 10 o'clock at 10:01. But at 5:01, tag, you out. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to touch you because now you're at the safe zone. I can't touch you now because the curfew just hit. So COVID, you know what? And COVID is having this conversation. Listen, I won't touch you with some germs until 5:02.
It's either serious
or it's not. Have some fucking consistency. Once again,
think it out. You gotta think it out.
You gotta put shit two and two together. There's rules at a beach, okay? And it says this one took me out the game. This one right here was the kicker. This is the one that took me out the game. This one right here. There's a sign on the beach. Wear your mask. If you're swimming, you're fine. But when you go sit on the sand, COVID can get you. If you are swimming, you're fine. You know, people pee in the beach water, right? Do you know what all is going on in the beach? But if you throw a ball or a frisbee towards someone else, that's not okay. That took me out the game. That one took me out right there. That one took me so out. Like, oh, wait a minute. Then we go into a place to go get some sauce, right? And then this one, this was like we going for it 3 times the charm today. I asked for some damn sauce. Just some sauce, y'all. And I almost lost my shit on somebody because he's like, we have a coin shortage.
COVID's a powerful little thing.
We have a coin shortage. Due to COVID, we have to charge you 25 cents for some barbecue sauce. I was just like, just take the dollar. We are in a coin shortage. Did you hear yourself?
Give me 4. That little COVID dirt is a powerful SOB.
So you're telling me that we're in a coin shortage, but you're going to charge a coin for some sauce? Like, just make sense. Like,
all right. Okay. So my issue with it is I've heard that, you know, the masks are affecting your breathing and you're rebreathing your germs. And I've heard that that things, the COVID
people
germ is so small.
People are breathing too much of their own air.
So my issue is I've not heard is I have a nursing background and I've worked for surgeons, so I know the sterile technique. So you got your mask, you see my little germs on there, you got your mask on your face and you just collected all these little COVID germs. What do? You take this and you put it in your purse and then you go to the next store and you've got germs on your hand and you're touching everything.
You have to pull the card out to get the hand sanitizer out.
You just,
everyone,
ridiculous.
And here's my thing. Here's another one. Checking out. So everyone's touching the same pin pad.
But it's got plastic on it.
But
you're touching the same plastic. If it's truly a death-defying pandemic, we would all be dead right now.
Do y'all know that we went down to the homeless in the middle of COVID? If you go down to Skid Row in the middle of the pandemic, the dead bodies are not more than usual. No. You would be tripping over them if that was the case. Think about it. How come your homeless people are not dropped like flies?
Yes, COVID is a thing. Yes, I know a lot of people and a lot of elderly people. I have family that are elderly that had COVID. They all recovered fine.
Okay, and then whoa. Can we talk about the contactless shit? Because this one takes me out the game too. Does anybody know what contactless means? Contactless means. It means that we don't come into contact. That means that the shit that's contacting with my hands right now does not come into your contact. So if you work in a restaurant, honey, you are not a frontline worker, baby boo. That does not exist. Okay, you are not essential, honey. You're not. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're not. Why? Because you had to touch the fucking bag. The tray that you have to push over to the drive-thru, you gotta touch it. Okay, the food that has been made, you have to wrap it. I don't give a shit if you have on a glove. That means that you contacted with someone's stuff and you contacted with them to say, here you go.
Yeah.
All prepared foods in restaurants would have been closed if it was a true pandemic.
Is it just me?
It hurts.
Somebody help me.
For these masks to be functional and to even work at all, you have to use a new one every single time. You've got it. When you use it, you take it off, you throw it away, and you get a brand new one. And you got to wash your hands. Sterile technique.
Tag me up.
Put it in
All right, go. Okay, here's the thing.
Put it in that hazmat.
Oh shit, Mom, I just forgot it. Hazmat. That's what I want to say. If this was a virus, please go look up what hazmat looks like. If this was a true virus, you are coughing, sneezing. If you had COVID and you went out, all over this, right? Okay, you go outside, you drop this on the ground. Why the hell isn't hazmat coming to pick up all these germs? If we were in a pandemic, you should see 2319 Monsters Inc. yellow status coming out. Like, 2319! We got a 23! Like, you should see people burning these fucking things, but they're laying all over the street. There's gloves.
Have to use a new one every time you go into any store. Every time you take it off, you need to throw it away. Or it has to be washed. It's sterile technique.
So, come on. You have to.
Think it out.
People, come on. It's a clear day, just land. The problem is you're being controlled. People want to push you to see how far you're going to say, no, I'm not doing that.
And look how far. If you are from California, if you've been following the California rules, they are pushing us like insane. Yeah. I feel like we are on an episode of Punk'd, and people are just complying. I have family that's freaking complying. They irk my soul. Like,
you know what takes me out the game? You know what takes me out the game too? You know, just like me right out?
Get in the train.
Is the tent.
To the camp. Take the shower.
That's the tent. That's what takes me out the game. So people are like, you got to do everything outside, right? So let me get something straight. Let me get something straight. You're paying money to go to a restaurant to sit outside in the parking lot next to the garbage can.